Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's August 13th, 2023, and we are in the Old Testament book of Ruth, and we're going to read chapter 2 today. All right, so we're taking a break from talking about judges before we get to Samuel, the last judge. We saw all kinds of idolatry and disobedience. People are doing anything they want. They're doing evil. They're doing whatever they think is right. But not everybody. And this is a story of somebody who's doing right. Ruth. She's actually a Moabite, so she's a Gentile. She's not a Jew, but she comes to live with the Jews, and we see great faith in her and great love for her mother-in-law, Naomi. So first chapter, Naomi and her husband went to Moab because of a famine. She took her two sons. Her two sons married Oprah and Ruth. Then all three of the men died. Naomi finds out that the famine's over, so she goes back and she tells her two daughter-in-laws, that's it, you're released, you can go with your family. I got nothing for you back in Israel. But Ruth says, no, I'm going with you. I promised to take care of you. I'm going to come and take care of you. And one of the ways she's taken care of her is we see in chapter 2 here, she's gleaning. What does that mean? Well, as they harvest the crops, they don't necessarily pick everything that's in the crop. Some of it stays there. It's usually just going to get plowed under and go to waste. So people are allowed to go in and glean, to take the crops that are left over. So that's what she's doing. She ends up in the field of Boaz, who just happens to be a close relative. And he notices her and says, who is that? And they say, oh, well, that's the lady taking care of Naomi. And he says, okay, well, you know what? Don't stop her. Let her get anything she wants. She manages to catch up to you guys. Just let her keep going. In fact, drop a little extra so she has plenty to eat. And after she's gathered all this food, she comes back and Naomi explains to her, hey, that's a good thing. There's the Lord working in our favor because he is our relative. So you keep going back to his field and we're going to be taken care of. So let's go ahead and read Ruth chapter 2. There was a relative, Naomi's husband, a man of great wealth of the family of Elimelech. His name was Boaz. So Ruth the Moabitess said to Naomi, please let me go to the field and glean heads of grain after him in whose sight I may find favor. And she said to her, go, my daughter. Then she left and went and gleaned in the field after the reapers. And she happened to come to the part of the field belonging to Boaz, who was of the family of Elimelech. Now behold, Boaz came from Bethlehem and said to the reapers, the Lord be with you. And they answered him, the Lord bless you. Then Boaz said to a servant who was in charge of the reapers, whose young woman is this? So the servant who was in charge of the reapers answered and said, it is the young Moabite woman who came back with Naomi from the country of Moab. And she said, please let me glean and gather after the reapers among the sheaves. So she came and has continued from morning until now, though she rested a little in the house. Then Boaz said to Ruth, you will listen, my daughter, will you not? Do not go to glean in another field, nor go from here, but stay close by my young women. Let your eyes be on the field which they reap, and go after them. Have I not commanded the young men not to touch you? And when you are thirsty, go to the vessels and drink from what the young men have drawn. So she fell on her face, bowed down to the ground, and said to him, why have I found favor in your eyes, that you should take notice of me, since I am a foreigner? And Boaz answered and said to her, it has been fully reported to me all that you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband, and how you have left your father and your mother and the land of your birth, and have come to the people whom you did not know before. The Lord repay your work, and the full reward be given you by the Lord God of Israel, under whose wings you have come for refuge. And she said, let me find favor in your sight, my Lord, for you have comforted me, and have spoken kindly to your maidservant, though I am not like one of your maidservants. Now Boaz said to her at mealtime, come here and eat of the bread, and dip your piece of bread in the vinegar. So she sat beside the reapers, and he passed parched grain to her, and she ate and was satisfied, and kept some back. And then she rose up to glean. Boaz commanded his young men, saying, let her glean even among the sheaves, and do not reproach her. Also let grain from the bundles fall purposely for her. Leave it that she may glean, and do not rebuke her. So she gleaned in the field until evening, and beat out what she had gleaned, and it was about an ephah of barley. Then she took it up and went into the city, and her mother-in-law saw what she had gleaned. So she brought out and gave to her what she had kept back after she had been satisfied. And her mother-in-law said to her, where have you gleaned today, and with whom did you work? Blessed be the one who took notice of you. So she told her mother-in-law with whom she had worked, and said, the man's name with whom I work today is Boaz. Then Naomi said to her daughter-in-law, blessed be he of the Lord, who has not forsaken his kindness in the living and the dead. And Naomi said to her, this man is a relative of ours, one of our close relatives. Ruth the Moabitess said, He also said to me, you shall stay close to my young men until they have finished all my harvest. And Naomi said to Ruth, her daughter-in-law, it is good, my daughter, that you go out with his young women, and that people do not meet you in any other field. So she stayed close by the young women of Boaz to glean until the end of the barley harvest and wheat harvest. And she dwelt with her mother-in-law. May God bless the reading of his word. May God bless you. Bye.